Input.
He's like, no,
If I do this, is it loud?
Oh, yes.
It's louder.
It's louder.
Oh, much louder. Let me turn this down a bit.
No,
Maybe
it's-
like here.
It's fine.
It was
not
good.
right
It was
here?
good.
It wasn't
like
ear shattering.
blasting my eardrums out or anything. I was like, I can actually hear him now.
Okay. What
right.
about this? Is this satisfactory?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Okay. All right.
I think. Yeah.
This looks like a good recording audio on my end. I like the waveform here. So, okay, I'm going to stop.
That's what
Delete what I record. How dare you? I like the waveform. I like your waveform.
I like your waveform. Oh.
I like the way your waveform.
I like the way you fall.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm recording now.
Same.
Okay. Clap.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Beautiful.
Bitch! God damn it.
I will get it.
Sorry for the delay.
Slowpoke.
I was processing.
All right. So, no. Welcome to They Fucked Us Up, the podcast where we discuss movies from our childhoods that tormented us or traumatized us or just stuck with us in a very significant way. This is a very special episode of They Fucked Us Up. This week is a little bit different because we are actually going to revisit a movie that we have already reviewed with the remake that they just came out with. So we are going to be talking about the 2020 version of The Witches. Woohoo!
Yeah! Yeah.
Here today. My name.
That waveform is really loud.
That's the way your
Shit.
waveforms. This is your host, Xandra, with Jake,
Hello.
Kevin,
Hi.
and Nemo.
Hello.
And we're going to just kind of jump right in here.
We did it this time. We actually said hello. I'm cute.
Yeah.
Not awkward silence.
Yeah. I think it takes me like pointing at you now.
To feel the
Well, hi.
We're getting more professional.
How y'all doing, hunker downers?
Oh.
How's quarantine treating y'all?
Oh, God. Anyway.
Anyway.
Man holds a special little place in our hearts.
Yes.
Anyway, so we're going to kind of just jump right in. We're gonna we've already gone through the whole story of the witches. The new one hasn't changed much other than the timing of it has changed, the location of it has changed.
Well, it did clean up a lot.
And it cleaned up a lot. So
It wasn't dragging.
yeah.
Because the original dragged.
Yeah.
The original dragged a lot.
There was a lot going on. So
And you really feel it watching the remake. You really feel how much the original dragged with its exposition. Like, let's tell the story about, like the whole story with the girl that got kidnapped by the witch.
Yeah, the timing on that one was very long. They still did that with this one.
But it didn't feel
like it took like 5 minutes.
Like, you
took,
really
like,
felt how long
minutes.
the original was when you saw the remake, because they got the pacing up, everything.
Yeah.
And they also really solidified the whole relationship between the grandmother and the grandson more. Like,
And also the grandmother and this witch, which previously it was like, what's this connection? It's very vague.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did
we're
you
already
feel,
into it.
Nemo?
Yeah, we already
My feelings on it was like, it was nice that they did graphical updates, but I didn't feel that like it was like the original was very strong to me.
Really?
Oh
Okay,
no!
so-
Sorry. The mother, the grandmother, and the kid, their relationship and the ending was obviously better than.
Yeah.
Like, in a way, it's kind of what I expected, the way it should have been. It's still weird, the idea that it's a the way the ending happened. It kind of feels sad, but like, I feel they addressed it a lot, so it was a much better ending than the original one.
Well, so we'll start into it in the fact that it's moved to America they started in Chicago, right? Or something like that. I'm sorry.
So Wikipedia.
We watched it a while back, so it's not quite as fresh in our heads.
We watched it when it came out.
Yeah, so did we. So it's not as fresh. We watched it on Halloween.
Yes, we did.
And
That's
a
right.
couple
Alabama.
of us were high while we watched it.
That's right.
It's in Alabama.
Yeah. Well, the ending
no.
was in Alabama, but after.
In 1968 Alabama, a young boy goes to live with his grandmother following the death of his parents in Chicago.
Okay, so I was
yes.
right. So the kid and his parents live in Chicago, and his parents get into a car accident. Yes.
This is going to be tough because we have two movies in our head.
I know, and it's really hard to kind of.
It's okay. I have the plot in front of me.
But so his parents die, and he goes to live with his grandmother. And I'm going to just address it right now. The kid and his grandmother are African American now instead of being like Norwegian and white American.
English, I think.
No, she was Norwegian, but they lived in England.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't the father like a famous? Was it Chris Rock? No. Who was the? It was a famous actor.
The narrator.
That was the narrator.
Oh, Chris Rock was the narrator.
Yeah.
But it was him as an adult.
Yeah, it's the little boy
as an adult. That's right.
Well,
okay. Okay, I'm just gonna go on. I'm gonna go on a limb real quick and say I thought that was really distracting. That was one.
It was a little bit distracting.
So as opposed to Nemo, I actually thought that the remake, was 120% better than the original. I thought the original was boring as tar. My opinion. I thought it was boring as tar. The remake, I feel like they did everything better on all counts. I really felt like it was all better. They fixed all the problems I had with the original, except for the fact that I feel like Chris Rock as a narrator was really distracting because I'm just so familiar with Chris Rock that it's kind of hard to hear him.
He was doing this weird gravelly voice that I don't like. I think he was putting on.
Well, he was doing his stand-up voice. It sounded like his stand-up voice.
Maybe it sounded.
That might just be the way he sounds now.
He's just old. Like maybe I'm just like, oh, he's old now.
Maybe, but
I think it's old now. Like that feels more likely. Like his voice has changed a bit.
Yeah, it was an interesting choice because we never see Chris Rock,
right?
Because you know, as he ages as a mouse.
Yeah.
So there was really no reason.
The mouse in the end kind of looked.
There was no reason to have somebody as popular as Chris Rock, and then we all know his voice. Therefore, it was kind of hard to separate.
It was really strange because I was like, "Where is this going?" And then at the end, you're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
I still don't understand why you had to do that, but
right.
whatever.
That was my one criticism.
It's usually typical to increase the power level of a film by having famous names attached to it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because they fit, but because you
right.
obviously get more people to talk about it because you have the name in it.
True. And the grandmother was played by Octavia Spencer.
Who is wonderful.
Yeah.
So, and she was great.
She's fantastic.
I like the death of the parents. It starts
she questioned things more, though.
Yeah, that was good.
As opposed to the old.
Like I said,
sorry.
I'm sorry. I really do feel like it was just a better movie. I mean, how we liked it can be different, but I'm just saying, technically and from a storytelling standpoint, I really feel like it was just a better movie.
If we think of it as better. If we think of it as an iteration, this is like a second iteration, so they got to fix so much from the first one.
No, yeah.
And it was a solid, that made it so much better,
it's so
undoubtedly, if I'm going to watch one, I'm not going to watch the old one. I'm going to watch the new one. What I'm saying is that the core is sort of the same for it. It wasn't, there's some movies where they change the entire meaning of the whole thing. And this one's, even though it changes, because
it kept the soul.
Because of the difference in race, it changes that, but the core of the movie still felt the same to me. What?
Yeah. I mean, it changed it, but I don't feel like it really made any difference. Other than
it didn't alter.
There was a little bit of weirdness at the beginning. at the hotel. But
right,
then she quickly addressed that, and he was like, oh, okay. But she didn't. I don't feel like she had to resort to blackmailing.
Yeah.
The hotel.
I don't think they did that in the remake, did they?
No.
They cut that out.
No, they didn't blackmail the hotel.
Yeah.
They did in the first one.
That was good.
Mm-hmm.
My apologies for coughing into the mic. I still haven't learned how to be a proper podcaster. I need to hit the cough button, the laugh button, all the buttons just to silence. So I'm only perfect voice.
You're okay.
But I think the main thing that improved from the original was, well, first of all, the graphics. Although,
but I still think the puppet versions of the children
were more terrifying.
Were better and more terrifying.
They were scarier.
Oh yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah,
and the witch to a certain extent. Like if they had kept some of the, like if they had kind of kept the way that they addressed the witch, they didn't need to get rid of fingers. Because that was never addressed. And also that weird little fucking toe.
Yeah, you really had a problem with that.
One toe.
Oh, that was creepy.
One sharp.
I just nobody else had the toe, but she did. And I was just like, I can't get over the toe.
She was hatched from an egg on a Norwegian tundra.
Yeah.
Made her special.
Yeah.
I for one tend to really not like CGI. Like CGI really bugs me a lot. It can be used well, but a lot of the times it's used lazily. Mm-hmm. And I feel like in this movie they did get a little lazy at times.
Like the mice were a little lazy. Yeah. Though her arms going through
that was cool.
That was scary. Intense and scary. And I was like, I'm glad I am not watching this high.
Or
could you talk a little bit more about the mice being lazy because it's CGI? In what sense?
So in the original, I mean, they're not realistic at all. They're very clearly puppets. Those mice.
In the original.
Right. But
like the way that they changed into mice.
But there were at least scenes where you could tell that they were real mice that they were filming.
Yeah.
And then it would cut to like a scene where they were a puppet. And those puppet scenes were kind of silly, but it's a child's movie. It's fine. Yeah. Whereas in the remake, it was almost all CGI. Most of it.
I think it all was CGI.
I don't
think it was ever practical.
And so it just kind of like it was noticeable to me. Like I was very much aware the whole time of the CGI.
And I mean, I can get why they wouldn't want to use mice because like that's one of those like the two things you don't want to work with is kids and animals. And I get it, but also like
it's just more difficult and like
but
so many more laws involved,
right? Mm-hmm. But like it's mice, you could use them for the running and stuff like that,
right
unless they get distracted by something.
True.
Well, see the whole like I don't want to get too far off topic, but the whole point of CGI really is to fix what's already there. Yeah, it's to fill in the gaps. It's not to replace. It's not supposed to.
Though now
it is. Yeah, we do that now.
Replace.
But it shouldn't be. Like a good example of CGI well used, in my opinion, is the Hunger Games. I know I bring up the Hunger Games a lot, but I really like that film series. It's really good.
What you bring up is Charlie's Angels.
Well, it is that too. But like Hunger Games did it well, whereas like they did create a lot of their scenery and everything, but they touched it up to make it a little bit more futuristic with a little. It was like
airbrushing scenes.
Well, it wasn't all. Yeah,
and it's like I could see like a fantasy film using a lot of CGI because that's just it's
Lord of the Rings.
Difficult. Like Lord of the Rings is almost all CGI.
No, The Hobbit was. The original was almost all practical effects, and they used a little bit like when Galadriel loses her shin mark. Instead of a Dark Lord, you'll have a queen.
Yeah.
And that was
CGI. But all the battle scenes, those are all CGI.
No, not in the original.
Okay.
In Hobbit they did. And that's why I hate The Hobbit. It's because The Hobbit was terrible.
Jake, you might have to walk that back.
Let's walk that back. But the point is that they did overuse CGI in the remake, and it did bother me at some points.
Yeah.
Others, it didn't bother me so much. Like the witches, like when she's doing her arms, all of that stuff, good use of CGI. When they were doing more of the mice and like those little things that they didn't need to use, that's when it got a little tedious for me.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, I want you all to know that I'm absolutely on the opposite side. If everything could be CGI, I'm totally good with that. I love that you didn't bother with. I don't like puppets. It's hard work. It's like marginally, like it's so hard to get it to look so realistic. And it's like, great, you did it.
But that's what CGI
now
is for.
Like,
then you can touch it up and make it look better.
No, what I'm saying is that why do these people suffer with like clay, with moving animated things? Like, it's so hard to like, what's it called? Like still motion, where you take a frame.
Stop motion.
It's called art, Nemo.
It's just, it just seems irrational, right? Like it's so much work, and it's like, stop it.
I get where you're coming from. It just, I mean,
we wouldn't have Nightmare Before Christmas.
I was like, we never would have had Nightmare Before Christmas or Coraline or a lot of other things.
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Okay, what if we say, basically the way I feel about stop motion is the same way people feel about film photography right now. Why are you doing film photography? You can do it with your phone, right? It's like, it's old, it's more money, it takes more time, but like, you don't have to. You can just like record it with your phone or take a picture with a digital camera.
Yeah, but would you rather...
pictures in business.
Yeah, well, I mean, for one, I get you, because I'm conflicted, because I hate putting artists out of a job, but at the same time, like budgetary wise, it's easier to just do everything CGI.
True. So I'm gonna kind of come in between that. Yeah. So I see where you're coming from, Nemo. However, I like it. I like stop motion because it is a artistic choice. Like, it is a style, and it comes kind of part of it to see it the way it looks. It's like Coraline, Nightmare Before Christmas. I like the way it looks. It's very like not grotesque. That's not the word I'm looking. It's very gothic looking because of the way it moves. But I agree with you that sometimes puppets. I personally don't like puppets when they're used wrong. Like, that's why I had a really hard time watching Labyrinth.
I was just going to say, so you love Labyrinth?
I had a hard time with Labyrinth.
Candace is going to be mad.
I mean, David Bowie's worth it. I'll watch David Bowie and just but the puppets, like, I like puppets like Little Shop of Horrors. That's a good use of puppets.
Well, yeah.
But, like, in The Witches, I didn't like the way she looked as a witch.
She was too polished to me.
When she took it off, when she was like the really grotesque looking part, I was just like,
in the old one.
The original?
In the old one.
Oh, okay.
See, I liked
it more in the old one. Because in this one, maybe it's because you hate things that are like, they appear normal and then they can just flip on a dime and change. Whereas with me, I'm like, no, she's creepy as fuck.
No, see, my problem is that
gross and nasty, and I don't want to be in a room with her.
Maybe I'm just jaded from studying film, but I don't like anything that is so obvious to me that it's makeup. Like, when I'm that hyper aware that it's makeup, I lose interest. I'm like, okay, I can see, like, I'm having
an artistry. Like,
is it though? Yes. Well, and see, that's a whole nother discussion to have, because it's, to me, it's like, there's makeup choices where I'm like, I'm aware that, like, okay, Tangirl, those are terrible ass kangaroos.
Those are terrible kangaroos.
But for whatever reason, like, the tone of the movie just allows me to just be like, whatever, I'm in for the ride. I can put up with it. In
so
The Witches,
the rest of the movie is like campy as fuck, you're okay with shitty ass makeup?
Maybe. But in this case, like, they really want you to be scared of it, and I just can't be scared of it.
I mean, it's for kids, and kids are going to be scared
of
a lot of
That's
in the new one or the old one?
We're talking about the old one.
Okay.
So the old one, the all the makeup and the
really
prosthetics.
Okay.
I personally think that in the remake, I thought she was more. I was more scared of her.
I was
of Anne Hathaway. I was more scared of her in the remake, because the mouth, especially the mouth stuff going on, the whole it's CGI, but still.
I think there was a big tone change with all of the witches in general, from the old one to the new one. Mm-hmm. That in the old one, all the witches were just kind of like creepy women, where you're like, oh, you're just kind of creepy,
like creepy old women,
creepy older women. Whereas in this remake, they seemed much more like sinister. Like these were sinister women, where you weren't just like side-eyeing them, being like, you're kind of creepy. You're like, oh, there's something wrong with you.
You're right.
Like the witch confronting the young boy in the store with his grandma. Oh, like she's not just like being a strange woman in the corner. Like she has this very creepy voice. And it's like so theatrical.
But they kind of made them seem like succubuses or something.
A little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, there was. Yeah, there almost was this like seductive succubus tone to them.
Which I was like, is this a tone, choice from Robert Zemeckis or
right? Because I'm sure it's interesting, because with the original, it's like who you never know who a witch could be. It could be just this woman,
just this nice old lady who lives down the corner.
Right. Where in this one, it's like, oh, you know who the witch is. Like there's no question.
Different.
It's the strange one with the raspy voice wearing the turban. Because they all cover their hair up and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're bald. But so I don't know, maybe a little bit of that yes. So maybe a little bit of like that original message might have been lost, but that's also, that could be like author's intent.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother deeper subject.
I mean, so that's the thing, is like, I feel like as an adaptation, if I remember correctly from reading up on the book, like it was always supposed to be old ladies, like that it could be anyone. And then they had the ending, so it's like they kept the ending from the book, but then they made the witches more like succubuses, and I was like, okay,
succubi,
whatever, succubi, whatever, succubuses.
Right. I think by that point, it's like, as an adaptation from the book, questionable if they muddled that message of it could be anyone, because it's so clear. But as a movie, very entertaining.
Yeah, no, it was
I enjoyed watching it.
It was a very entertaining movie.
We've reacted pretty like audibly. They're like, oh, yeah. Like especially the whole hand thing.
The arms. The arms. The arms are the ones that gets me, and that fucking toe.
That toe.
What is it with you and that toe?
Oh, because she balances on the toe,
and it kind of clicks. And didn't she like click it and stuff?
Yes, she did. She was like standing there, and the mice are hiding underneath her bed, and she like taps that one little toe, and it clicks on the ground. And I'm like,
to be fair, if I had one toe that was sharp, I would do that too. I'd be like, "How y'all doing?" I'm just like perch my foot out and click it.
Also, the snake element of Anne Hathaway's character, that wasn't existent in the previous one, right?
No. So and they very much like showed that with her outfits too, because like all of her outfits had some kind of snaky quality to it. But even so talk about bad CGI. That snake element to her dress was terrible.
Yeah, it was terrible. Her outfit was annoying to me.
Yeah.
You didn't like the clasp?
One outfit. Huh?
The snake clasp around her neck?
The snake clasp.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was strange. I'm like, oh, why would
I was like, you spent so much time on everything else, yet this snake clasp is what's going to piss me off.
Right.
Why? But all the rest of her outfits were great. So I was just like, okay, here's the thing, like CGI versus artistry, like
right.
Sorry.
No, I can see some of the laziness in the CGI. I think I definitely have to agree with y'all on that. Because at some point it's just like, this is an animated thing. It's not real at all.
So even though I say I don't like CGI, like again, I think it's useful. Yeah. I just think that when it becomes so distracting that I'm watching something and I'm like, that's CGI.
Yeah.
Like it's just so in my face. Yeah. That's when because in order for you to appreciate something, you have to have some suspension of disbelief. And when it's just so like it's computer generated in front of me, it's a little.
Okay.
Can I
Yeah.
Can I bring up one thing?
In order? Are we going in order? Because I very much would like to talk a bit about the ballroom.
Okay.
Sure. And then I want to talk about his mouse.
Oh, I was going to talk about that third mouse.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The third mouse.
Oh,
but anyway.
Fuck that character.
Yes.
And I'm going to use the restroom while you talk about fuck that character. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Wait, are we pausing or not?
No. Go for it.
Okay. The ballroom in the original one, something about the fact that it was like any event room that you can rent out at any hotel. It just seemed so familiar and so like, oh, I know this, I understand this. And that's what made it so weird to see witches in it. It's like, it made it feel like it really belonged. I mean, I guess the difference is that this one is more of a period piece than the original one was.
Well, yeah, because the original one was set in present times, whereas this one is set in the 60s. And it kind of takes place, I feel like it takes place in a plantation. Is that fair assessment?
No, I think that's fair. It is that. In fact, when
I was slightly upset with how...
when the grandma came in and they were like, "Oh, you're a guest," and then the busboy, whoever it was that welcomed her, was like impressed with that or something. I forgot.
Yeah, I guess because it was like a older Black lady staying in a plantation home on her, own money or whatever, and I was like, okay, because that was like the only time they like really like mentioned race. But like not even mentioning race. It was a very much like Forrest Gumpy, like we're gonna slightly touch on it and then never talk about it again.
Light touch.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, thank you, Bob Zemeckis. What the hell was that? Like, oh God.
But the thing about the ballroom, I just want to say that like something about like, it's sort of, I feel something was lost that I really enjoyed from the original, because before I even watched the movie, I knew that scene in the ballroom.
Yeah.
And I loved the look of it because it was just a boring ballroom. I've been in there. And the idea that witches could be there, would have their own ballroom thing was like fantastic.
Like roots it in more of a reality that makes it scarier.
Yeah.
As a viewer.
And I think because this is a period piece, it loses that sense of this is real, and like, it'll probably make it harder to scare kids to be afraid of witches in real life.
Yeah,
because that ballroom in the new one, it was very opulent.
It was a grand ballroom.
Okay, don't know when I would ever be in a room like that.
So, no.
Right?
I would love
also, I'm like, where did you find such a massive plantation? Most plantation homes I've been in have not been that big, but I have also never been to like the Oak Alley plantation, so I don't know. But yeah, no, it kind of loses a little bit of like, it's not realism because it's a fucking fantasy film,
right?
But like a sense of what would actually scare you.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they try to keep it on with like, we're going to have those at the end. So we're going to go into it. The ending is he stays a mouse. Yes. And he grows old with his grandmother.
Yeah.
And they have these classes where they teach children how to hunt witches.
Right.
Now that you put it that way.
Whoa. I mean, I don't know if they were trying to warn them against witches or they were teaching them how to hunt witches, but it seemed like they
hunting.
Were teaching them how to hunt witches.
It seemed like an assault, not a defense. Like, we're going to find them and end them.
And fuck them up.
Yeah. Well, not to mention, like, as opposed to the original film, the remake, they made it more of a period piece, as opposed, like, in the original, they don't really specify time.
Yeah.
But here it's like, I'm assuming that when he's older, it's supposed to be
like the 70s.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm guessing.
I think. Yeah.
So that was also interesting.
Yeah.
To age.
Yeah.
to have that context, and then it brings a lot more into thought when you're like, okay, I know when this is taking place now.
Yeah.
But well, and also with them changing it to America, it makes it weirder that the witch is like German or whatever to me. Like the Grand High Witch is German, and I'm like,
at least her accent was more
well, okay, yeah, that's true.
You feel there weren't a lot of German.
I love you, Angelica Houston. What was that accent?
Yeah.
What was going on there?
Sorry, would you say, Nemo?
No, I was gonna ask. Was it unlikely for Germans to be in America at the time?
In the well, no, unless they were Nazis being hidden by the government. Yeah, probably. They wouldn't have been. They wouldn't have been given so much leeway to just like, I've got this whole group of witches to have our convention. Like, okay.
Was there an insinuation of Nazism in the High Witch?
I don't think so. But I mean, to be fair, the guy who wrote it, he fought the Nazis, so maybe there was. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying everything Zemeckis has done has
No. Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl.
Yeah.
Roald Dahl. Like rolling a doll. Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl. Yeah.
One shot.
Yeah. No, Zemeckis, he's like a 60-year-old man who just really likes technology a little too much. Hence, welcome to Marwyn.
Oh God.
I don't want to talk about it.
So on my own, I've been watching a bunch of horror films because I'm doing my own little thing. But I keep finding out that Robert Zemeckis keeps producing these horror films from the late 90s.
Yes.
And you can really clear, like, so House on Haunted Hill, the remake.
13 Ghosts.
13 Ghosts.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And The Haunting, right?
In the no.
No.
I don't know if he did that. Anyway, but you can see his touch because, like, even though it doesn't really add much to the story,
he's got a
the
weird,
sets are
heavy-handed
insane.
touch. Yeah, he's got a weird, heavy-handed touch, even if he's not directing it.
Yeah,
he still has a weird, heavy.
Because like 13 Ghosts, the CGI is over the top, and it doesn't need to be, but it is. It's wild. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
So it's like he's always had a thing for CGI. Even Death Becomes Her.
Yeah.
I keep bringing that up because that's my favorite Zemeckis.
Yeah.
Back to the Future.
Yeah. Death Becomes Her, Back to the Future, Forrest
Didn't he do
Gump.
Polar Express?
Yes. Polar Express and A Christmas Carol with
really?
Carrie. Yeah.
Oh.
I want to do a whole separate video or podcast on, like, we have this whole, like, choices were made. Like, Robert Zemeckis has very specific choices were made.
Yeah.
And I'm like, his plots are so strange to a certain extent that if you like tried to explain it to somebody, they'd be like, and this is a movie that you like? like Back to the Future. He's a 17-year-old high school student who's friends with a disgraced nuclear scientist, gets sent back to the future because his scientist friend gets gunned down by Libyans.
You know, when you put it like that.
And he almost fucks his mom.
And why are they friends?
He almost fucks his mom.
If you're going to explain that movie that way, it doesn't sound like a good movie.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. But it's like,
it's a classic.
I enjoy it a lot. I enjoyed that one and the second one. And the second one's much weirder than the first one is. And then the third one just goes off the rails completely.
But the train is on the rails.
No, it's not at the end because it's a fucking flying train.
So speaking of choices were made, let's get into that damn third mouse, because that is the one thing of that movie. That was my least favorite thing about the remake was they added this third character.
Well, okay, so like in the first one, he has his two mice and he meets up with his two mice, but they don't speak.
Right. They seem to be natural,
real mice.
Real mice.
And then he meets up with his mouse in this one, And it's a child that had been turned into a mouse.
Right.
She reveals herself suddenly. I was hiding my voice.
I was hiding, y'all. And I was like, oh, Kristen Chenoweth, no.
And I was like, do you recognize this voice?
But it's not only that, it's that she doesn't add anything.
From West Wing? Was she in West Wing? I'm just thinking Wicked, so...
See, I'm...
Oh, yes!
Think,
Kristen Chenoweth from West Wing. Oh, my God.
She was?
Totally forgot her. She was in that show.
I always
remember her of Pushing Daisies.
Oh, yeah, Pushing Daisies as well.
Mm-hmm. Ryan Murphy seems to like her a lot because he keeps putting her in.
Well, and then Running with Scissors.
Running with Scissors and Glee and yeah.
But anyway, so.
But she has no purpose. Like she doesn't add anything to the story, really.
I think they think she's gonna like explain what's happening, and this is a bigger thing that's happening. But I was like, but isn't the witch like first telling these witches that this is their plan for the children? So why is she already turned into a mouse? When did that happen?
True, because
was she an experiment by the High Witch? How did he get a hold of her?
Yeah, how did he prepare her?
Questions that I have.
Right.
Because it seems like we already had Bruno be that character that was like not the experiment, but the example to be shown in the ballroom. This gives us an example of the plan. Then this is how it will be used. He's eating chocolate. Here he is. And then Kristen Chenoweth's character, after it's all said and done, it seems like the only point that's been made by bringing her in is that, mice have been made before. Like, that's it. You don't, like, learn a new facet of, like, witch culture or anything. It's just like, they've made mice before. Coincidentally, your grandmother bought me?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It was
very bizarre choice.
Coincidental and bizarre.
Perhaps it was just star power.
I mean, true, but like she didn't add anything to it. Like the star power that they added didn't add anything to it, other than Octavia Spencer and Anne Hathaway.
And also interesting to note, they did cut the Good Witch out of the story.
Well, yeah, but that wasn't even in the original story.
No, I know, but I'm just making a note of something else that changed.
Glad they cut that stupid bastarding side plot that
the Good
did
Witch.
Not need. Remember in the other one, the High Witch had that witch's assistant.
Oh, the horrible ending.
In the end, turned him back into a boy, and we were all like, "What the fuck is this?"
I never wanted to be one of them anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Lord.
I'm a good witch now.
Yeah, it was. It's absolutely good that they got rid of that. They didn't choose that ending again because
thank God.
It never felt right. I mean, the ending doesn't feel great per se because it's still a mouse, but like that ending really felt bad.
It's upsetting, but I can handle it more than naked boy at the end and being like, "Go get Bruno!"
Boy. Right?
Like,
oh God, like didn't even
don't eat the cheese,
to,
Bruno.
Like, bother with the end.
I mean, I have to say, like, they still kept Bruno the little fat boy.
Yeah, there still was that.
They kept on with the eating jokes,
but it wasn't as many eating jokes.
It wasn't as bad.
Yeah, the eating jokes happened when it needed to have happened for the sake of the plot. It still makes no sense to me why Roald Dahl wrote it so that Bruno is stuffing his fucking face when they go to meet his parents the first time.
Note that all Roald Dahl stories have some fat kid in it.
True.
Think about it, Matilda.
And he's very aggressive. He's very aggressive.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I mean.
Yeah.
There's a fat kid in that.
Augustus.
No, I'm just thinking, is he fat phobic?
I think so.
You know what?
You fucking fat children.
But I think it was also like the 50s and 60s. They had like there was a lot of processed foods that were coming into play, and like kids were getting larger. Like they weren't even that large, but they started getting a little bit larger. But that's like always been the case. There's always been somebody who had a slower metabolism.
Even in countries that don't have processed foods, like in Germany, like there's still a lot of big people there too.
Yeah,
it's a myth that America. I mean, well, no, we do have a lot of.
We exacerbate it.
Yeah, but
yeah, I know.
Sorry, we went off on a tangent there, but but
yeah,
but it is. But it was very fat phobic. I was like,
yeah.
Roll Doll targets fat kids. I said it.
Roll Doll is canceled.
He's
No.
canceled.
Roll Doll is
Hashtag
canceled.
canceled.
Hashtag cancel. Well, to be fair, so I'm going to address this part. There was a canceling of this movie because the way the High Witch's hands is similar to a condition that's out there. I don't remember what the name of it.
Adadactyly, I believe, about missing limbs and appendages.
Yeah, which I get where that was coming from because I followed this one lady who was on Great British Bake Off and she has that, and she can still do her like she was on Great British Bake Off until like second to last round.
Right, she can function in life and be like, I'm fine.
But it does make children scared of that situation.
That was the claim they were making against the movie.
And I get what they were going with that. I was like, her hands could have just had long fingers and creepy nails and still done the crazy things through the vents.
Right.
That's even worse, to me. But I didn't understand why they had to like cut out 2 of the fingers on each hand.
Well, Nightcrawler on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of was.
But
I mean, if we're gonna go with Nightcrawler logic, because supposedly Nightcrawler has 2 penises.
Oh God.
Penis, sorry. Plural penis. Did she have 4 boobs? No,
These are questions
we need these I don't know why that just brought into my mind. Did I ever show you Star Trek: The Final Frontier?
Is that the one where, what is God?
Yes.
No, I've seen like the end of it. I have not watched the thing.
No, there's a part where he goes to this, like, it's a club on this weird abandoned planet, and there's this cat woman.
Oh, I'm excited.
And she has 3 boobs.
Oh, God.
And she leaps out from behind the bar at Kirk.
What is it with these movies that like 3 boobed women?
Yeah.
Like, what was it like?
Total Recall.
Apparently aliens on other planets are going to have 3 boobs.
If it's going by a cat, shouldn't she have like 8 boobs? Like going down her
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
She's got nipples everywhere.
It was already
She's
a weird.
smothering him.
It was already a weird enough.
Can you imagine a full front of just boobs?
It just seems like a lot of cleaning.
What do you mean a whole front?
It's like cover your chest. It's just covered. You don't have abs. It's just
the whole
boobs.
torso. No abs, just boobs.
All boobs. Oops, all boobs.
Boobs are boobs.
Just a little lifting and cleaning.
How many more times can we say boobs in this podcast?
I know.
I'm sorry I brought
that up. It's a children's movie.
It's a children's movie.
It freaks me out every time I see that Catwoman with 3 boobs.
It's weird.
And then he throws her into this like pool game thing.
Oh, she explodes.
No, she electrocuted. And I was like, you killed that woman. You killed that Catwoman with 3 boobs.
That movie in general. Yeah.
Sorry. Random side tangent.
Yeah.
On
that note, how many breasts did the Grand High Witch have?
No. But
I will say I like the floating. I like the fact that she was floating.
That the High Witch floats. Okay.
I like that. Those were things that they added.
Float water. Sorry. Yeah, it was interesting. It added an element.
It made it more creepy.
Yeah, it's like, what is her power?
They gave her more power.
Yeah, they did give her more power. She wasn't just like some weird woman who like decided to be a witch. She is like some kind of creature that has these powers. But and I'm glad that the production addressed the hand thing and made an apology video being like, I'm sorry, we didn't think about this. It's not it's just not forefront in everybody's mind. There's a lot of things that,
Right, Anne Hathaway addressed it directly too, saying she wanted to use her platform in the future to raise awareness about Anadactyly. You know, I feel I should have looked up how to pronounce it.
Sorry.
But she was going to raise awareness about it and make sure that like children were not scared and traumatized watching this movie and then encountering somebody in the real world missing appendages and being like, ooh, somebody creepy like a witch. And it's like, no.
But I mean, so we all have our own opinions of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was really good because I do think it addressed some things that the logic was just not there in the original movie. There's still some other logic stuff that they added to it that I don't think needed to happen. And then the CGI was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, but some of it was still kind of lazy.
Mm-hmm.
It might have just come down to a timing thing. But
I like the twist at the end that she doesn't become a mouse with all the rest of the witches. That they have a strange little mini battle standoff in her hotel room.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
and when she did not eat the soup.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then her cat kills her.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's her cat that kills her.
Her cat kills her. That's right.
Yeah. I think it's important to note that the original movie did suffer from you can tell that it was limited by its budget.
Yeah.
And it was limited by the production. So you have to preface with that. For the time, I mean, it was
pretty good.
It was pretty good. But now, with the budget that it was given, Robert Zemeckis and all his money, they were able to clean up a lot. They were able to give it a better pacing. They were able to fix plot points that were kind of strange.
Yeah.
They all that. And so for me, overall, it was a better film. It was better. Yes. It was better filmmaking, better storytelling. That doesn't mean that everything was great. There were some there's
still some things that you can pick apart.
Yeah,
but, I mean, there's
things the CGI to me was it was distracting at times. I would have done with less of the CGI.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked to. I would have preferred a mix like the original a little bit because the original was all practical effects. Mm-hmm. This one was mostly CGI. I would have liked a mix in between, a little bit more practical. CGI to kind of make it look seamless,
Yeah.
But overall, I think the movie was great. I was very entertained by it.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm glad they trimmed away also the strange chase sequence.
Oh,
that baby.
Like with the baby stroller, the baby pram.
There's a lot of weird chase sequences in the old one.
But that's what I mean by pacing.
Right, yeah. They
just a lot.
Trimmed that out.
Yeah.
And let's not forget that useless chase sequence. It ends with them catching him anyway, so we could have just skipped that entire thing in the first place.
Right.
Exactly. Right back in the ballroom where they started. And it's okay, what was the point?
Yep.
It's just a strange use of your time.
Yeah.
You have time, and this is what you're using.
Were you padding this? Was this in the book? I hope it wasn't, because you should have cut that.
Yeah. I wonder if that was. And I like I said earlier on, I liked that they added this context of showing the history of the grandmother with the Grand High Witch.
Mm-hmm.
And that in the original story, the childhood friend that runs into a witch, it's not just some random witch that you never see again.
It's still the Grand High
Witch. It was
the
Grand High Witch that did this.
Yeah.
So when she encounters her at the end of the movie, the history is explained. It's like, oh, they know each other.
Ambiguous, and you're like,
it's kind of horrifying if you think about it, because in the original movie, she was put into a painting.
Mm-hmm.
In the remake, she was made into a chicken.
Yes. Oh yeah.
They were
so you're thinking to yourself, they don't say it.
Cannibalism.
Well, I was going to say they probably killed that chicken later.
No, that's what I'm saying. I was cannibalism.
I remember the grandmother said, and they said she laid the most big and delicious eggs. And I'm like, they're all eating her friend's menstruation.
Friend's menstruation.
Or
grandchildren.
Why are you doing this?
No.
I'm fertile. Oh, hopefully they weren't fertilized ever.
I mean.
Oh my God. I didn't know.
They're eating my baby.
Oh, Kevin, this is horrifying.
I mean, it's going to be one of those traumatizing things that a kid now is going to look back on and be like, oh, fucking hell. Choices were fucking made.
Speaking of choices, the High Witch, when she got turned into a mouse, a golden chest support fell.
Right.
Like a heavy,
she always had that one.
Oh yeah, she had like armor or something. Yeah, what the fuck was that? They never explained that. That sounds like something that was cut out of the movie. Like she had some kind of armor on her.
Yeah, like the best I can guess is that maybe that stopped her from flying, but like I don't remember any other part.
Or she was always trying to. Or she was always trying to protect herself from getting killed.
I know, it seems like very like badass and intense and mythical.
I liked it. I was like, oh, nice armor.
This like
armor
solid gold ass armor bra, always hidden underneath the clothing. It was kind of badass.
Yeah.
Armor bra.
Yeah.
Never explained.
But who knows? Maybe we'll get the outtakes or something, or the what they cut out of the film later on and be like, oh, that's weird.
There was context.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is in the book. I don't know.
Maybe since I never read the book, it's kind of hard to be like, was there something to this? But overall, it was enjoyable to me, enjoyable to you.
Yeah,
very enjoyable.
It's one of those few occasions where the remake actually.
Nemo sounds like it wasn't as enjoyable.
No. It was enjoyable to me, but it wasn't like 2 times better. It wasn't 100% better. It was like I would go as high as 50%. But like if I never saw this, I wouldn't have I wouldn't have felt I missed that much from the first one.
Mm-hmm. Let me put it this way. I think that of all the remakes I've seen lately, that was probably the best remake.
Yeah.
Of any movie I've seen.
Yeah.
Go with that.
Yes, because I've seen a crap ton of remakes.
Just say it's shit.
Shit. Ton of remakes. I don't know why I stopped myself there. Yeah. But I've seen
fucking family podcast, okay?
But yeah, no. Of all the remakes I've seen, it's definitely the best one that I've seen so far.
Yeah.
They did well. I was thoroughly entertained. Like, it was enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
And I've been traumatized by all the late 90s horror remakes.
Oh.
Yeah, he watched...
They're so bad.
He watched the Japanese version of The Grudge versus The Ring.
Oh, my God.
Why are you torturing yourself like this? You can watch happy things.
Right?
The remake of House on Haunted Hill is the worst thing I have ever seen.
I came down and I watched a little bit and I was like, nope, this is terrible. I'm going back upstairs.
I can only imagine. It traumatized me as a child. It was probably so stupid.
It can only be rivaled by cats. It's horribleness.
It's my leprechaun.
It's your leprechaun. It was like 13 Ghosts, I remember, kind of traumatized me. Yeah, I don't remember any of it.
I had to show her a scene.
I think it compartmentalized in my head.
In 13 Ghosts.
Yeah. And I was like, now I got to rewatch this and be like, oh, this was terrible. Oh, okay. Anyway, it's another podcast for another day.
Anyway, yes, we highly recommend it.
No!
What is it on? The Witches, the remake. It's on
HBO Max.
It's on HBO Max. Okay.
Yeah.
So listeners, if you have HBO Max, you can find it there.
Go find it. I'm sure it'll be on DVD.
Is the original on there too?
No, that one's on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why they're split up.
Way to make sense.
So the original's on Netflix. The remake is on HBO Max.
Yeah. So.
And where can we find our podcast?
Yes. Our podcast is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube now. Go check us out. Yeah. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram under They Effed Us Up podcast.com or They Effed Us Up pod. Check us out.
Once again, thanks to Zandra for putting us on all the things. All the things.
But we'll be back to y'all soon with a new episode. We have a 2-parter coming out on Monty Python's anthology. So
also thanks to Jake for editing these so I don't have to.
Yes, of course.
And then we'll see you guys in the new year.
Right. 2021.
No, you say that.
2021. Why?
Oh, I thought you said Trump 2021.
No, I said 2021.
Like, what is wrong?
Oh, hell no.
Oh my God.
That is not coming out of my mouth.
I was like, wait, what did I just hear?
Oh, God.
No. Let's just,
y'all, I want to have a nice 2021.
Right?
we're done with the podcast. We're done with 2020.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we'll see y'all in 2021. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Okay, I don't know if y'all care, but the 1997 movie Spawn is now on HBO.
What is this?
So.
Oh, really?